Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Where is Derek Carr going? What's going to happen with quarterbacks? So, JJ, the latest is Derek Carr is going to talk to the Carolina Panthers. And I think the Panthers, anybody in the NFC South has made a lot of sense, right? I mean, that's kind of where we've been on this. And for whatever reason, the Panthers and Frank Reich and that whole – there's a real belief that the best place for Derek Carr is somewhere in the NFC South. Now, I'm telling you, I kind of moved my thought process over to the Commanders. I think the Commanders are the best spot for him. I really do. I think they can compete there. I understand the Eagles are there, and they won the NFC Championship. But I don't think that's a dynasty by any means. I don't think they're great, and he's got Eric Bieniemy, and they can build something around him. I think Eric Bieniemy's got a lot to prove. They're going to invest. Okay. But the NFC South is wide open. You can't name me the best quarterback in the NFC South right now, can you? Because you don't know who Carolina's quarterback is, who Atlanta's quarterback is, who Tampa Bay's quarterback is, who New Orleans' quarterback is. So he's going to go and at the Combine meet with the Panthers. He's already met with New Orleans and the Jets. What do you think of the Panthers?
I think the Panthers are fascinating because they're in position to grab a young quarterback or use that to reinvest in the roster around a veteran quarterback in Derek Carr, because Carolina is sitting there at 9, and that is, with these teams. Mm-hmm. And so I'm with these teams. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of looking back just over that tenure and not just recent, history with all.
He feels like he's become a better quarterback on the field. To your point, they lose. They haven't been play. They haven't done anything. And you look around and why? Well, I mean, they went out and got him Devontae Adams this year, and they didn't win. Josh Jacobs had a great year. Now, their defense wasn't very good. They struggled. They lost games that they shouldn't have lost, and part of it was his fault. So you're right. But I think people want a leader and a guy who's going to unify a locker room as opposed to maybe not. And I do think that plays into this one because your point's not wrong. When you just flat out look at numbers, what's the deal with this guy?
And I like Derek Carr, and I think a franchise would feel really good getting Derek Carr, but what I think is getting lost, and I've been there, I've said, is this Matthew Stafford 2.0? Stafford went to a team that went to the Super Bowl. He went into a winning organization. The teams that we're talking about Derek Carr going to, they're on the cusp, but they could easily, be a 4-win team versus an 8 or 9-win team that we're talking about. So I think that, these teams would be good with Derek Carr, but
JJ, I know you don't think they should move him, but I don't hate that scenario at all.
Different when we're talking about Lamar Jackson coming back.
Yeah. If you'd give him his money, he'd be happy. He gets a new start. You got a proven commodity, or at least you think you do. Not that he's ever won anything.
And there's only 3 years difference in age. And the problem with the overall number 1 pick, I'm not sold on Bryce Young, especially if he measures in at under 5'10", and doesn't run a sub 4.4.
And if I'm Baltimore, I do it too. If I'm Baltimore, I do it too.
Yeah, and then you're out of that headache. because you're not going to give him the money he wants, so you're going to get into a stalemate where he can conceivably sit out to game 8 and then sign his.
So would you trade Fields? I mean, that's a big price. Fields and the number 1 overall. But if I'm Baltimore, that's what I want. If you want that guy, that's what I want.
Yeah, but Baltimore wants 2 number 1s, and if you don't believe in Fields, and Fields is basically
I love that.
Lamar Jackson light.
Yeah, I would do it. I actually really like that. That's
And then I just think that's the way it would go. And, I don't know what a better option for Baltimore would be out there if Chicago really wants to do it. And Chicago knows what he's getting in Lamar